And it depends what levels you're living in. If you're living in just a physical world, it's become physical. If you're living in your ego world, it's going to come through your ego. If it's living in a spiritual, it's going to come more spiritual. But at different levels, it opens up differently, but the cycle will still go on. And you have to know your time within half an hour anyways, pretty much. Within half an hour, even within an hour, you'll be pretty close to the year, in the right year when this is hitting these angles. But when you have it exact, you're able to get down to within a week or two. It gets into really intimate. So Jupiter on the descendant, that's opportunities coming out on relationships. So you have a new outlook on how you're going to meet people. I'm not just going to hold on to my word. I'm going to participate more. I'm going to get out more. Someone's coming in and giving me better feedback. You're starting getting more feedback. That descendant, taking things in, the setting side of your chart. Jupiter's rising up to it, but you're taking in, you're getting new feedback, and that new feedback can be really reinforcing. And someone understands me, or someone's giving me good feedback. I understand this. So often a good relationship or marriage can start under Jupiter. But if your understanding is not right, it can interfere. Nobody loves me because I'm fat or because I'm drunk or whatever, and I can only take this kind of relationship. A wrong understanding causes a huge amount of difficulty in relationships. If you start the relationships there, by the time you get to the 12th house, it's ending and what was right or what was wrong. You're not able to carry it, and then you have to start on your own again. So the Jupiter on the descendant, you can see it's really you're getting feedback. It's a descendant, the energy setting. It's coming from the outer world. You're getting feedback from others. It's coming in. Whereas on the descendant, you're projecting out and you're influencing others, and your influence is changing. Your identity, how you're influencing, is changing. On the descendant, how you're reacting to others is changing. And Jupiter's there, so you're learning from how you react. And you can have one person say, "Oh, come on, smoke up with me. Oh, come on, have another drink." Or I meet you at the bar, and another person say, "No, let's go travel. Let's do something. Let's not drink." And you can have good and bad relations, and you're having to choose. Generally, it's one of the fortunate times where someone good or good advice could come to you, but you have to be wise enough to take it, and then make a commitment to it, Saturn, or just to see how it fits with it. If the relationship is happening when Saturn's in your 12th house, well, that's different. If relationship's happening when Saturn's down below, depends where Saturn's going, how Jupiter's aligning within that cycle. So if Saturn's above the horizon and Jupiter's going above, it's going to be aligned to what's working out in the world, who you know. If Saturn's down below the horizon, Jupiter hits there, it may be an opportunity that someone's recognizing what you know, and you have opportunities to learn more, but you still might expand a little bit, not as much. Your Saturn's working on more personal development. Okay, so with this new understanding, and you're aligning how you align with people, how you're taking input, how you're reacting, that brings out a new functional expansion where with that new perspective, you're meeting new people, you're aligning, you meet a new friend, you have to meet their friends, other things, you get married, you have in-laws, you have so many things to expand and involve with the Jupiter expanding from the descendant up to midheaven. By the time Jupiter hits the midheaven, it's the comprehension of your opportunity, it's comprehension of your status. I can reach up here, I got this far, I can take this further. It's opportunity to improve your social position. I got to do more. You're working, you're putting out in the world, and you're busy, you're doing things. And if you're not working, you're still partying and you're out there doing things. But all of that is taking away from your basic integrity down below the horizon. So it depends how well you've built up your personal will as to how much you can accomplish. For some people, a little molehill is a big accomplishment. For other people, a huge mountain is a big accomplishment. And the difference is how much effort you've made to work towards it. But if your understanding is linked, is connecting well, it sees where you are within the Jupiter phases, and you can see, well, inside that limit, you can start to see the priorities will go better this way or that way. And we'll probably try and get to this a bit more in the next level. But this is like in the background, you're seeing this, how to guide someone, how they're processing. It's not something you can necessarily explain to someone else without them misunderstanding it. I'm just lucky in this. Sometimes it is. But even if you're saying, yeah, a new relationship, something coming, you can go, a new job, a new promotion, you're going with it, what's the cost? What's the inflation? Is it leading you where you want to go? So sometimes somebody might think it's just about getting better pay. But someone else may take a lesser position than Jupiter on the midheaven, but one that they want to do more, that they're happier with. So you got to be careful of your focus on assuming it's on one level. It could be on any number of different levels that it's happening on. So once you've expanded with the midheaven on your social position, then you're extending that You start expanding it around people. You have a job, you have friends, you have people you know, you're going to have parties, you're going to socialize, you're going to extend, you're going to make connections, you're going to schmooze, whatever, until it burns out. You know, if you lose your position or you get, there's only so much you can compete before you have to get time, before you're just partying with everybody, and you need to get some depth of character for yourself. So this is the cycle of Jupiter to the end. It's very useful, but it's the backup inside of the Saturn where it really starts, when you start seeing it. First, right now, you do your cycles, you see how it's working through. And then, and you spend some time thinking about it, reflecting on it, then you begin to see how Jupiter is working for you. Jupiter hit my IC first. I was allergic to formula. They spent a year trying me, 6-8 months of me vomiting all the time, trying to get off my mother's breast milk, till they found a soy-based formula. And then it went okay. I don't have anything for the early times. In 56, I was playing baseball. Jupiter was on my ascendant. Well, when I was playing baseball in those years, to me, that was the most socially together time of my life. I'm part of a team, I'm part of a group. What I'm doing meant something to everyone, what everyone else did. It was really the most social, successful time I had in my identity. It wasn't the most accomplished, but it was just part of a team, part of everything. It was like a whole different, I really enjoyed it. It really was it saved me from the abusive home situation. Jupiter hit my IC. I moved from a small town to a big city. And it's a funny story. My IC is in Scorpio, so Jupiter hit Scorpio just like this week. It's done that. But when it first hit, we were in a small town. We moved to the big city, and my girlfriend in the small town I'm 13. Okay, my girlfriend had just sent away for an encyclopedia on sex, and we were going to start to explore what the encyclopedia had to say. Imagine the anticipation. Okay, so she sent away for it for 6-7 months. It hadn't come. So my parents, by the fall, my parents said we got to move. So we moved from the small town to the city. The week before, the day, or about 2 days before we moved, my girlfriend calls me and says, "I got the book," and we were gone. And I never got to explore those sexual adventures. But there was a lot of lessons around the move and other things. That's Jupiter on the IC. So you get the signs, and you have other things coloring it as it's coming in. Right now, we're just looking at the angles themselves, not necessarily the signs. That'll come in as you go along. Next time I hit the IC, I married, and I moved to an apartment. First time I really had my own apartment. And then at the end of that, I moved from the apartment to a farm in the country. So when I moved from the small town to the city, then I moved to an apartment in the city, then to the farm outside of the city again. And the next IC, at the following one, I took the library back. My library I gave it away and they misused it. I took it back, so it was a whole new understanding, but it did change, bringing 75,000 books I was living in the studio anyways, but bringing it into the place you live, it took up a lot of the space. At the next time at the IC, I was elected to the steering committee, and I was deeply motivated. I was writing newsletters, organizing things. So that was a beneficial time. At the next one, I was recording some chanting. That was a big thing because it wasn't astrology, it was more mystical and chanting. At the next one, I was, some friends visited me from China, and I sent my video, some of my RASA videos and material to China. So those were my ICs, those were my motivation points. And from there, the expansions built up to different degrees. As I went on, I can go through all of them. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you need to just work. You do this, you'll fill out things, and you have points that are empty. The points that are empty, even before this class, I had to go in, and I went back and I had to fill in 3 or 4 places that were empty, and I couldn't remember. And so all of a sudden I can remember back to those times, and I was able to fill it in completely to get it updated. So these are works and processes you're working across your life. And then gradually you grow into your understanding, your comprehension. You begin to tune in how it's working for you. That's wise. That's useful. Okay, so when you take Jupiter to other planets, you're going to see it's always a challenge to understanding. There's always an abundance or opportunities coming up, opportunities to grow, to learn, but they can come from negative or positive experiences. So those would be adding to the Jupiter adding to the Mars is going to increase aggression. Jupiter to the Venus, increase indulgence. Venus to the Mercury, increase thinking or talking. Venus to the Moon is going to expand the weight and the domestic situations or problems. Or kids coming in or other things. So they're going to have their own things, but they can be added on top of these main ones. The main ones, Jupiter to itself, Jupiter to the Sun, you can do just knowing someone's birth date and relative age. If you have the chart, if you know their date of birth, you can get the other planets and the Sun and the Moon. You can do the other ones to add in. But if you have the time, you get the angles and you see the more specific cycle moving on within this. This is about all I'm going to do today with Jupiter. It's a fairly good run at it. Now next week, it's the hardest working week we have because we're dealing with Mars. And we're dealing with the Mars cycles. You should run them off on a computer, conjunctions, squares, oppositions. Mars to itself, Mars to the Sun, and Mars to the angles. And it's going to be a lot more different dates. You're going to be filling in your history sheet on the Excel a lot. But Mars is your energy, your desire for experience. It's the things you're doing. It's so vitally alive. It's all the experiences that your understanding is going to be based on. So I taught it Saturn first and Jupiter within it, then Mars within it, then the Sun within it. That's how I teach my transits. But really, you could go from Mars to Jupiter to Saturn and put it in and look at it that way too, because Mars determines what you do, determines your understanding. Really, your understanding is guiding what you do. But what you do and your desires determine your understanding. Your understanding develops. And as it develops, it can become mature and responsible or not, accomplished or not. A lot of people fully have it. Meet someone, what have you been doing for the last number of years? What have you done with your life? Nothing. People haven't done nothing they want to hide away. People have done something. Well, I'm working at this, I'm doing this, I'm busy here. And so Mars is your energy, your passions, your energy, your use of force. So try and work through it. Get the calculations done quick. It's gonna take a few evenings to get the times and put them on the graph. It's going to take you an evening just to do that, and then to write the things out. You're talking a few hours work. Jupiter was a little bit more. It's 12 years, but Mars is every 2 years. So there's a lot of those cycles in a lifetime and a lot of events to be trying to check to, and you're looking much more specifically at specific events and things. Accidents, fights, competitions, adventures, races, sports, anything, like sexual activities. And so you're going to just work through them and do it. And we'll start with Mars next week. And yeah, that's it for today. There's always more. It was easy to talk for 5 or 6 hours and go deeply into this, but this is a pretty good layout. You've got to take it from here. And remember always that your Jupiter works the way it is in your natal chart. It starts from there, and you start building up your Martian experiences, and you start building up your understanding around it with a certain specific bias that you have. Okay, next week's Mars. We'll do all of Mars, and then the following week we do the Sun. So I'll talk to you next week, and thanks. Good night.